Hey there, welcome back. It's Don again. I'm out in the garage again for one of my infamous midweek planning meetings. However, it's only Monday night tonight. So what does that mean, you might ask? Well, that means there's been progress made on a couple of different fronts. And so I guess you could almost say I'm giddy with excitement. No, not that crazy. But anyway, got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, so I'm going to jump in here and bring you up to speed on what's going on. So let's tear into it. Okay, well, one of the first and most exciting developments was I got a shipment of parts from Quadratech today. Actually, a couple of envelopes, but if I can get this out of the envelope, this little doodad is that ball joint socket thing that we've been waiting for. So this one little, I think we decided this was a $17 part, $16.99. has been holding up the entire front axle put back together. So I've got that now. That means we can get the ball joints replaced. And so again, I think I mentioned the challenges of ordering stuff online. Well, I got one of my front axle U-joints here. So if you care, it's Spicer part number 5-260X. So it's the U-joint, one of the U-joints for the axle shafts. It's one of the U-joints for the axle shafts, plural. There's two axle shafts. I got one U-joint. I went back and looked at my order, and I ordered one U-joint, two axle shafts. I somehow missed clicking the quantity 2, or I didn't, whatever. I got one, I needed 2. So I'll at least be able to get half of the front end put back together. It's Monday, I think I mentioned, right? It's feeling like a Monday. Anyway, I went back on Quadratech's website. They had those in stock. They said it would ship today. If I ordered today, I did order today. So I have the other one coming. And I ordered also my rear parking brake cables that I need to get into the drums so I can get the drum brakes finished up. And a couple of other odds and ends, most of which have completely lost my mind right now, or left my mind. I can't remember what else I ordered today. I think I went through and was kind of like, okay, I know I need this and this and this just to finish up the frame stuff. So then the most exciting thing of all was Jay called me from Willys Overland and said the tub is ready to ship. So should be going on a truck, hopefully, maybe tomorrow. And then he said he thought it would be probably here maybe Friday or Monday, depending. He said he'd give me the truck, the carrier information as soon as we get it and all that stuff. So I'll start tracking that. And now I got some work to do to get this frame ready for the tub. So again, what I was shooting for is I don't want to go for a month with the BMW having to park out in the driveway, but it might have to go out there for a little while, because I'm sure once I get the tub and the fenders and the windshield frame, all that stuff that I ordered from the guys at Willys, they're in here, it's going to take up a fair chunk of this until I can get it all up on the frame. So anyway, that's the positive developments. So I am going to tear into this knuckle for a little bit here and see if I can get this disassembly process sorted out, and I will show you what I'm doing as I do that, so we can see how either easy or difficult it is to get that little threaded insert out of that top part of that knuckle. So let's go do that, should we? well, this is annoying and embarrassing, and mostly annoying. I'm just flat annoyed with myself. So I broke that little socket off. I broke off the two of the teeth right off the bat, just trying to back out that little threaded insert, which I thought was keeping the ball joint locked in place. After I got looking on the internet a little bit, first of all, everybody's ball joints removals all show the threaded parts of the ball joints pushing down. Mine are sticking up. I don't know why. I double checked, I counted the bolts, I took a picture of the front of my differential cover. I definitely have identified that thing as a Dana 30. Maybe I'm just not going back far enough in time. But anyway, so I came back down here, and having realized that I didn't need to take that threaded insert out to get the ball joint out or to get the knuckle off, what everyone is doing is basically just taking a BFH, a big hammer, and wailing on the thing, or I guess you can use like the slope ball joint removal, like tie rod end removal fork thing. That's a forked piece with a big kind of slope to it, so you drive that in and it presses the thing down. Well, I just came back out here and I just got the hammer and whacked on the knuckle a few times. Well, a lot of times. Had to hit the crap out of it, and it came right off the thing. It just came down off. So what I have in my hand here is that knuckle. So now I can clamp this thing up in the vise and take these U-joints or these ball joints out and press the new ones in, and that threaded insert basically just gets replaced with a new one. Now let's walk over here, and this is what's really gonna make you think that I'm a fool. Here is that threaded insert. Now you can see it down in there. Hopefully you can see it. And if I stick my little socket on there, I can turn that thing. Well, I can if I can hold on to the socket. I can turn it back and forth by hand. So I think I could back it all the way out of there now with just a crescent wrench and be done. So anyway, I gave in. I admitted my weakness for knowing what the hell I'm doing. I thought I knew all this stuff. But I ordered a Jeep Rebuilder's manual off Quadratech. Because obviously there's some of the stuff where I'm scratching my head and someone's been down this road already before. So long story short, I got the one knuckle off. I think I can get over there on the driver's side with my trusty hammer and knock the other side out. Now, one thing I did do is one time with the hammer when I was striking the blows on that thing, so I did hit the threads of one of my studs there that holds that spindle on. So I suppose now I'm gonna have to order a set of spindles. Before I do that though, I do have a tap and die set. I'll run a tap down that, or a die, whichever one recuts the threads on there, and see if I can clean those threads up enough to not have to replace that. Just because, you know, those have to be pressed out of the knuckle, pressed back in. You can do it with a hammer, but not that well. So anyway, I guess maybe you're just not supposed to work on Jeeps on a Monday night, but I did and learned my lesson. So hopefully what I'm going to do is when I strap this thing up in the vise and start working on pressing out those ball joints for good, I will really try and do a good job of documenting that, because I dug around and I did not find a single person doing knuckles with the ball joint orientation the same as mine. So maybe I can save someone else the trouble I just went through of looking like a fool, acting like a fool, wasting a bunch of time. I mean, I literally did not need that threaded socket that I've been waiting for 2 weeks on. just didn't need it. I could knock these out and put my ball joints in and put it back in. It's the pre-tensioning bolt. Now, obviously what it's there for, after I did a little research, I did find a service bulletin that someone had posted up on the internet that I pulled a copy down of. I did find that there is a torque setting for that bolt, or that thing. Once you get your ball joint back in there, that's kind of pre-tensioning the ball joint to keep everything tight. So, you know, there's a proper way to do it, and obviously that now I'll figure out, get everything right and do it right. And I did order another replacement for that socket, because obviously it wasn't supposed to break that silly thing, but I wasn't supposed to be trying that hard to use it, because I could knock the knuckle off without having to do that. Anyway, so got the knuckle off. I'm gonna get the other one off. I'm gonna slap them up in the vise over here, sand them down a little bit, do my paint polish thing, make them look nice and shiny, and get those ball joints out and the new ones in, and see if we can't keep this moving along. But now we're making progress. So just had a moment there where I was dumb. All right, well, in the interest of preserving some other SOB from having to go through all this trouble that I just went through, that threaded insert is pressing against this part of the top ball joint. So you do not need to take that out to get the knuckle off. You just need to get pretty aggressive with a hammer. And you can see these are both tapered ball joints. So this knuckle will come down out of the axle knuckle, the axle portion of this knuckle. So you can see these are the bolts that press through. It's kind of, not sure how well you can see that, but they have kind of a straight edge on one side of the bolt head there. So that's supposed to kind of press up against this outside and keep those from turning. And if I flip this over, it is marked with an R here, which I believe stands for right hand side, so it's the right side. And so what I'm going to do, so again, if we look at this arm on it here, if I can get it to stand up by itself for a minute. So this hole that's closest to the knuckle is what our drag link or our tie rod, main tie rod, goes into. And this is the drag link or the tie rod end over to our steering box. So this is the knuckle that turns everything, makes you steer this thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of clamp this end in the vise to hold it here. And then you can see down here I've got my ball joint removal kit. I'm going to see if I can get one of these ball joints out here now. So I'll sit down and let you watch that, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we're over the toughest patch of this and things will start looking up. All right, well, if you're following along and you're getting ready to do this on your own, just go buy a new Jeep, man. Don't do it. So I got this thing in the vise. I've got a sleeve down here over the base of the ball joint so that it can travel down through there. This part is into the bottom of my tool. The threaded part is pressing against the top of the bolt right there, of the top of the ball joint. I have a 7/8 inch socket on my 1/2 inch breaker bar, and all I'm doing at this point is moving the whole, pulling the bench away from the wall. I can't get enough leverage to get the thing to move out of there. So might be time to have a drink and rethink my priorities in life. But obviously this is not, I'm missing something. I you know what it is, I think what a lot of folks do is they take those and press them out with a hydraulic press. And I'm just trying to do that with a 18-inch cheater bar, so, or 16-inch or something. So, or breaker bar, whatever. Anyway, so gonna have to reevaluate this. And while you weren't watching, I did climb over on the driver's side knuckle. Now it's up against the wall, so it's a little tougher to work on. But I wailed away on that thing with the hammer for 10 minutes. and can't get it off there. So I might need one of those forked tools I mentioned to kind of drive that knuckle off the ball joint. And then I don't know, maybe I'm gonna have to take these to a machine shop and have somebody press those out of there for me. Hopefully the new ones, go in differently or better or something like that. But at this point, I'm a little stumped. So, but obviously my ball joint removal press kit here by hand is just not up to the job, or it doesn't seem to be. I keep looking around thinking, well, maybe I can hook this stuff all to something else and get a little bit more leverage. I haven't figured that out yet. So I'm gonna leave this for now and put my noggin on the process and let me see if I can come up with any new ideas. And if I do, I'll share them with you. But follow not in my footsteps, man. All right, talk to you later. All right, well, I have had this chalked up in the vise and wrenched on it until my face turned blue. I kind of think maybe I have that one moving a tiny little bit, but I worked on this one and I don't know how well we're going to focus up this close, but I haven't even broken the seal on the rust around this thing, and I've given it pretty much everything this tool has in it and then some, and those are not moving. So I'm kind of thinking maybe that is the deal, is I might have to call around, see if I can find a machine shop that can press those out with a 20-ton press, and I'll wait out in the car while they're doing that for when the gunshot goes off, when those things finally break loose and come out of there. Oh yeah, I wonder if we can buy these knuckles and just put new knuckles on, for goodness sake. That's the joys of living in Utah. I mean, that's really is one of the things we deal with here is rust. We just get rust on everything, and rust just like welds it in place. So I don't know if I have the wherewithal with the little tools I have here and just trying to muscle it to get those out. So I will make a few phone calls tomorrow, and I'll come back and tell you what we find out, see if some machine shop's willing to take a stab at it for me. All right, well, as it turns out, it's Thursday, and I have not had a chance to talk to any machine shops yet about getting those ball joints pressed out of those knuckles. I had to go over to Wyoming yesterday, and today's been kind of a crazy catch-up day. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get on the phone and make a few calls about that. But I think I mentioned that the tub is on its way now, and according to the first email from the trucking company, they said the earliest that the thing will be here is Monday. So I think basically I better assume it's going to be here Monday or Tuesday or something like that. I will call them tomorrow and find out, if we can get an update. But for right now, I know that I'm in really pretty good shape for setting the tub on top of this thing, with the exception of the gas tank here. So let me just show you what my plan is. You can see my main gas line, my return line, and these two vents here. All this stuff here is really going to be impossible to get to when the tub is sitting on top of here. I do have my hoses to put on here for the filler tube and the vent tube, and so those need to be pretty much wrapped up before the tub gets here, and really then the rest of it, it can stay in the same order I've been going in, and I can set the tub on there and be okay. Now, I called FedEx today. The gal I talked to today said she would go out and find that package and figure out what was going on with it, because we're going on to 3 weeks now. 3 weeks that package has been floating around FedEx facilities here in Salt Lake. So she called back later, and I wasn't there, but she left a message and said, hey, your package is on a truck. You'll get it today. What do you think? I didn't get it today. So it's Thursday today. I did not get it today. So maybe tomorrow. Hope springs eternal, right? So, but it'll be okay if I don't get those. I just wanted to be able to work on those hard lines while I could stand up, reach over the frame, and do all my work without having to lay underneath there. But I'm going to call them again tomorrow and just go, look, can you just hold the thing at some facility and let me come get it or whatever. But we'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. So for right now, though, this episode's getting a little long, and I'm at the point where I'm about ready to wrap it up. So I will wrap this one up, and next time you see me, I'm going to get the gas tank sorted out, and then I'm going to take the advice of my pop up in Montana, who said, get your torch out and heat that knuckle up and enough to break that thing loose, and you'll be able to get it out of there. So I'm going to put some fire on some of these projects here next weekend, and see if I can get those pieces that are reluctant to move, get the axle knuckle at least to expand a little bit so I can pound that thing out of there, get the knuckles or the ball joints continue moving forward. So, but anyway, for right now, I'm just going to wrap this one up, and I will come back to you next weekend. I'm starting to get some parts showing up, so we got another little parts haul to go through, but it's nothing too exciting. It's just the stuff I need to keep the brakes finishing up and moving forward. So for right now, thanks again for watching. You know, I hate to say it, but if you haven't done it, you might as well subscribe to this thing, because if you've stuck with me this long, you deserve to be with me to the end when we finally see this Jeep driving back down the road again, right? And throw me a comment down there. Tell me if my knuckles look like your knuckles, or if you've had the same kind of issue. If you had any tips or tricks, man, let me know. I need them. But for right now, I'll wrap this up, and I'll see you next time around.